October 14th, and we are live. Hope you guys did not miss the live yesterday. If you did, you missed two NFL winners. Two Monday Night Football games last night, two bets, two dogs, two winners. That's how we do it. The Brewers kept us from a nice 3-game sweep. That was a 1-unit bet. How does Terang not let that ball hit him? You bitch. I had 11-year-old boys that would take one when I used to coach travel teams, and you don't take one in that spot in that game last night. Absolute fucking disgrace. You got to let that ball hit you, tie up the game, and then have all the momentum in the world. Really could have pulled out a game where Snell was unhittable. He has been phenomenal going down the stretch. And he was incredible last night. Should have at least got it to extra innings in that game. Again, right side as far as I'm concerned, wrong result. You give me bases loaded in that situation. Berger says effing Brewers. Look, that was unhittable, and you still had a shot in the ninth, bases loaded. If you guys watched it, he has to get hit by that pitch, force the tying run in, and then let the chips fall where they may. But we'll take the two dubs in the two football games, two unit bets. Buffalo, susceptible to the run. Not susceptible. Horrible, terrible, or maybe could be the worst team against the run in the NFL. And Falcons carved them up. Falcons got a D. We saw that as early as week 2 against the Vikings. They have a defense. They did the job on Buffalo. That game was a no doubt a first half. The other game comes down to the last play, as it did last year. I talked about it with you guys. Jaden Daniels, Hail Mary on the final play. Same matchup against the Bears in Washington. Bears had the lead. Washington pulls one out of their ass. Last night, turnabout is fair play. Washington, 24-22 lead, have the ball. 3 minutes left. They fumble it. That was their killer last night. 3 turnovers. Bears have been phenomenal turnovers, second only to the Jaguars as far as turnovers. Recover that and then get the kick, get the walk-off field goal to get the W. So 2 W's in the football gets us a nice +4 units. We'll take that L with the Brewers. Coming right back with the Brewers today, so let's talk about it. One game, Toronto and Seattle, they'll meet tomorrow in Seattle. Blue Jays look dead. Blue Jays who were crushing the ball against the Yankees and at the end of the season, and were phenomenal at home. Best AL home record in baseball this year for the Blue Jays. Seattle under 500 on the road. Seattle goes in there off the 15-inning epic game, tied, cross-country. Fuck all of that. They go in there and they take 2. Now go back to Seattle. I don't know how Toronto's going to overcome that. Brewers, they won't overcome this either if they go back to L.A. down 2-0. Absolute must game, and you couldn't want a better guy going than Peralta. Peralta, 17-6 with a 2.70 ERA during the regular season. He did give up 5 runs across 9 2/3 in 2 starts versus the Cubs in the NLDS. But at home all year long, he's just been lights out. 9-1, 1.77 ERA, 192 opponent's batting average. And this year, 2-0 with a 3.27 ERA in 2 starts versus the Dodgers. Look, before last night, Brewers had beat the Dodgers 8 straight, including 5 straight at Milwaukee. Now, Yamamoto, he's been great, especially on the road. His road numbers during the regular season, 9-4 with a 2.13 ERA and a 168 opponent's batting average. He's been great up to his last start. Last start, he gave up 3 runs in 4 innings and a home loss to the Phillies. Before that, 7 of 8 quality starts. Look, even if you want to call it even in the pitching department, which it isn't. So if we say Yamamoto's a better, I want to explain how we make the pitching ratings. It's not, are these pitchers better than each other? When you've got for the Massa Edge members, you look at the ratings, okay? So as of today, we start with I believe Milwaukee 104 at home. It's how much better is Peralta than the rest of the Brewer pitchers, not than the Dodger pitchers, okay? And he's their ace, and that's by far no sure. Look, earlier in the year when Woodruff was pitching and you had the kid first breaking in pitching lights out, Quintana pitching great on the road, you had all of that going on. Okay, maybe not as much, but now he's much better than what they've got going on. Even Priesta, who we expected to pitch yesterday. How much better can you say we're going to make the Dodgers road rating for Yamamoto? Well, we can't say Yamamoto's better than Snell right now. Snell is fucking lights out. So therefore, it's Brewers, home dog and nothing. We sent this out last night at plus 114. Look, Dodgers, tough to bet against the fucking Dodgers right now. They are the best team in baseball. If Brewers are going to win a game, they're going to win this one at home with their best pitcher going, and that's why we sent it out. As soon as that game was over, we took it to plus 114. Right now, Pinnacle down to 105. Bet online down to plus 106. That's the right side, guys, and that's all there is to it. That's all this is about. Putting you guys on the right side at the best possible number. We're going to go over a lot of stuff today because this is the only game of the day. You know, other guys, fake fucking guys. There's no football. There's only one baseball game today, and all of a sudden they know everything. Hockey, the soccer, badminton. They're giving their professional opinion on everything else. There's bullshit college football today. I don't know anything about New Mexico State and Liberty. These fake fucks, they proclaim they know everything about it. They probably can't even name their starting fucking lineup. Anyway, guys, no better time to become a Massa Edge member. NBA tips off next week, and that's my specialty. If you think I beat the fucking numbers now, wait till fucking NBA starts. We got here, Vic says ping pong. Yep, for sure. Those other guys betting tennis today. And look, if I didn't think the spot was right for Milwaukee, I wouldn't send out a bet. I told you guys a million times. I am not here to be entertained, okay, by sports. This is a sports betting information service. If I don't feel there's an edge, I have no problem going a day without a bet. That's why when these guys send me, how many bets do you guarantee a day? And what's your ROI? And what? Give me a fucking inquisition. Like I've got time to play fucking 20 questions with you in my fucking DMs. Listen to one of my fucking lives. Go back. I got a million up there. If you think I know something about sports, you should fucking join. If you don't, leave me the fuck alone. Go to Steve Stevens or Bezo fucking wins. Bears had to win that game after losing on Hail Mary last year. Jacob says, well, they didn't have to, but they did. End up sprinkling both first TDs and hit both. Okay, way to go, Jacob. Crush it, buddy. Get OUN NFL. I don't know what you're referring to. Big day in the NFL, John. 2 for 2 can't get better than that, my man, especially when they're both 2-unit bets. John, start putting some videos on TikTok with previews, I'm sure. You can gain traction there. Yeah, we tried TikTok. I tried X. I've tried YouTube. I've tried everything. I am a pariah on social media. I've been saying it. If I've got a social media master out there, I'll give you a percentage of my business. You got to do all that shit. I do my shit here. This is my shit. I'm a 63-year-old guy. I ain't got time or knowledge about what's going to work and where to put it and what time to put it. I just ain't got time for that shit. So somebody could do something, send it to me. Either pay John $2.99 or spend 12 hours a day trying to do what he does. Jonathan, that is really the best thing you could say. Look, I've got, and I obviously privacy, so I can't say who, but I've got guys that call themselves cappers. They're not. They call themselves cappers. A ton of them are actual Massa Edge members, all right? They're doing just what John says. They're letting me do the work for $299. I spend Guys, I spend at least 12 hours every day. There's not a day that I don't spend less than 12 hours a day working. Today, all my work's done. As a matter of fact, Massa Edge members, I usually don't put the entire week ahead's NFL card up, but it's already up. While it's a quiet day today in sports, I am now starting our NBA studying. So if I could pay somebody $2.99 for all the information to be at my fingertips, I would pay, how about $9.99 a week just to free up the amount of hours that I put in every single day. So let me tell you how that pays off. I'm going to tell you one of the NFL bets that my Massa Edge members got first thing this morning. And the only reason I'm going to tell you, because I don't feel it's fair that my guys that are paying $2.99, that the guys that pay just $29.99 to watch the lives get the same info. They're going to get the same information, but not at the same time. I bet Falcons first thing this morning +3, and you guys can see that game now is down to 2. So it's only 1 point, but NFL is different than NBA and college football. You move a full point, especially off the 3. That's a major move. So I feel that that's moved enough that my Massa Edge members have already solid in at the +3. But this is what you're going to get. So now if you got to buy it now, buy the $2.99, guys. Unless you're a fucking $20 bettor, that's the only guys that shouldn't be a $2.99. And I tell you straight up, if you're a $20 bettor, then you can't afford my $2.99 a month. It doesn't work. It's not worth it for you. But if you bet more than that, you should get it. Pro Static, I pay weekly and still make what I need to pay for Massa. Absolutely. Okay, I was just checking some emails that I got coming in. TikTok is shit for sports betting, says Carter. I don't know. Just trying to catch up with some of your stuff. So anyway, why would I take +3? Well, you've got, look, talking about it. Falcons looked fucking phenomenal yesterday, last night. This Falcon team, how many of you guys know that they lead the NFL with 151.2 rushing yards per game, and they lead the NFL allowing just 139.4 passing yards per game. Cross country, and they played on a Monday night, and that's a terrible spot. But the 49ers are banged the fuck up. Remember, they already had lost Bosa earlier in the year. Now they lose leading tackler, linebacker Fred Warner. That D is going to be hurting to stop anybody. You had Mac Jones playing for Purdy these last couple of weeks, and he'd been holding his own. Look, San Francisco leads the NFL in passing, but in passing yards per game. They're 30th, rushing for just 82.2 yards per game, and they're 28th, tied for 28th with 10 turnovers already. Mac Jones had that prototypical game last week. Throws for 347 yards, but no TDs and 2 picks. So you're clocking the yards, okay, but you're not turning them into scores. Mac Jones, he played by necessity because Purdy was out. Mac Jones was banged up also. So you get 2 banged up quarterbacks. They're not going to get no help from the defense. Again, like I said, now Fred Warner out. Will Jennings, the wide receiver that did return last week, he listed his ailments. He told fucking reporters 4 broken ribs and this, that, and the other thing, and a partridge in a pear tree. This guy's banged up. Will he get Pearsall back? This is a banged up 49er team. +3 points. That's the price we took. Good spot for Texans this week. They come off by, and Seahawks worse at home. Not going through the NFL. But you're not far off from that, my man. That I will say, Brock Power. Again, I'm going to go through some colleges. I just wanted to give you guys the Falcons so you know what you're missing. Again, you're a $20 bettor. Listen to the lives for $29.99. If you're a bigger bettor than that, what you're going to pay when you're missing that 3, it's going to pay for itself. And with the NBA here, guys, I do this every year. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Every year, you're going to see games. We're going to lay 2 of the games. You're going to go off 4, maybe 5. We're going to take 7 of the games. We're going to go off 5, maybe 4.5, maybe 4. Once in a while, we're going to get caught with an injury against us. Other than that, we're going to beat the fucking piss out of the line day in and day out. No better time to become a member. Like I said, by the time you get to the live at noon Eastern, those numbers have already moved. College football. And I'm gonna do this by I'm gonna go right through conferences because I want you guys to be careful on a couple of games. So right away, let's just go like this. Friday game, we've got Louisville at Miami. We'll start with the ACC games. That's a Friday game. If you're a Massa Edge member, just tell them. Does anybody have ratings that can smell my fucking ratings? My ratings were posted, by the way, and my Massa Edge members could tell you, before the college lines came out Sunday afternoon. I've got Louisville rated 32.0 at home. I've got Dolphins rated 45.2 at home. That's a difference of 13.2 points. The fucking line, guys, is 13.5. There's no better line maker in the world, and I'm just going to tell you that. Both teams coming off a bye. Miami won 52-45 at Louisville last year. I'm not really giving a home revenge because the Hurricanes have beaten the Cardinal 3 of the last 4. North Carolina, Cal. Here's a game that opened a little higher, and the bet was North Carolina, but Gio Lopez, the quarterback, he missed the last game. Do I want to bet North Carolina, one of the fucking worst teams in the Power 4 conferences, to go all the way out west? Believe me, it's North Carolina, nobody. If this game was to go back up, I probably would bite just for a small bet on North Carolina if Lopez is in. I don't make the numbers this high. North Cal and Cal coming off buys. Connecticut and BC. I don't chart Connecticut's work. So BC, what I could tell you, is another horror show in the ACC. SMU Clemson, talked about it yesterday. And if you look right now, DraftKings actually down to 8.5. Every place else is 9. I set this out 10. Sunday, when the lines came up, 10 was the number on this game. It's a 3-unit bet. Love not only my numbers say to bet it, but the spot is all SMU. And by the spot, what we're talking about, if you didn't listen yesterday, Clemson kicks a 50-something yard field goal as time expires to beat SMU in the ACC championship last year. It's what we call a circle game. And as I showed you guys yesterday, there's your circle. We have SMU. When you lose a game like that, you wait for the schedule to come out and you see where Clemson is, and you take your pen and you circle that game. Expect SMU to play this one really tough. Like I said, Clemson, after a couple of losses, did they get that much better, Clemson, in the last 2 weeks? Who did they beat? Boston College and North Carolina? Got to show me more than that. I love SMU, and the line tells you where the sharp money is at. G-Tech and Duke, and I've got G-Tech a 32 on the road. I've got Duke a 33 at home. And that's a 1-point difference, but I've got Duke coming off a bye, okay? I've got G-Tech won at home over Virginia Tech last week. Star defensive back Harvey, questionable for Georgia Tech. That's going to be big for them. Also, G-Tech won last year in Georgia Tech, beat the Dukes, Blue Devils, 24-14. But Dukes won 3 of the last 4 at Duke, the 3 of the last 4 meetings, including covering all 4. Spot belongs to Duke. Little bit of revenge. They've got the bye, an injury possible on G-Tech. So to me, guys, this game is closer to 3. Now, the line has gone away from me a little bit. It opened 2.5, is now down to 1.5. If this game continues to go the other way for me, it's Duke or nobody. Pitt and Syracuse. And if you're a Massa Edge member, you say, oh, John, you've got Pitt 9.9 points better on the road than Syracuse. I do. But this is also a little bit of and Syracuse has a bye. So you think you may want to bet Syracuse here. We know Angeli's been out, different team, Syracuse without their quarterback. But Pitt's got a little ownership here. Pitt, they've won 6 of the last 7 meetings, 5-2 against the spread, including 41-13 beatdown last year. So, again, not looking to take Syracuse in that spot. Virginia faces Wazoo. I call that Wazoo is Wash State University. Wazoo shot their fucking load in a game against Ole Miss last week. They'll be on the road for the 2nd straight week. I would expect Virginia to put it on them, but I really don't keep numbers on Wash State. Final game of the on the ACC games, Florida State, 3 straight losses. Now's got to go all the way out to the West Coast to play Stanford, who fucking let us down. That was us. We were looking for a sweep. Had supposed to stay under the number last week against SMU, but a 96 fucking yard pick 6 did us in. Anyway, getting back to this game, you got Florida State again. A bad loss at home against Pittsburgh. The 2 prior losses, they lose at home to the Miami. That's an understandable loss. The game before that, they lose at Virginia in overtime because of the look ahead, but now you can't go and lose to Pitt. Their season's over, basically, in the ACC now with 3 straight losses. Go out to the West Coast. Are they going to show up? Again, my numbers say that Florida State is 19.5 points better on the road than Stanford is at home. When I've got these in the ACC, especially when you've got the old ACC teams playing against the old Pac-12 teams, that's at least a point extra on the travel. So that 19.5 becomes 18.5 because of the extra travel. When I got a home road, that home road is Florida State, say, going to Clemson, going to North Carolina, not going across the country to Stanford. So my number is more, instead of 19.5, 18.5. And if you take a look right now, guys, that line is 18, and there is nobody that's got better numbers than I do. Let's do the Big 12 Conference. Big 12 Conference starts with West Virginia, UCF. I've got UCF 9.1 points better at home than West Virginia. But West Virginia's coming off a bye. A bye is, again, another give or take a point. Always depends. Is the bye coming off a win? Is it coming off a loss? This one's coming off a home loss to BYU. They stayed under the number, West Virginia. So that number gets closer towards the 7.5 where it's at now. I'm, once again, right by the number. Arizona, Houston. I've got Houston 1 point better at home. Let me find this on the schedule. Where the heck is these? Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to give you guys as much info in as little time as possible. So we get Houston 1 point better at home than Arizona is on the road. Arizona got to 27-3 last year in Arizona. Arizona falls at home in overtime to BYU last week. Again, I'm going to make this number 1.5. I'm going to just add a little bit to Houston. And again, you can see this game is 1.5. So again, right on the number. Baylor, TCU. I've got TCU 5.6 points better than Baylor. But once again, you've got Baylor, coming off a bye. TCU played and they lost at K-State last week. They've lost 2 of their last 3. With that said, Baylor won 37-34 in Baylor last year. TCU won the prior 4 games, 3-1 against the spread. So you got a little bit of a revenge spot here. 2 Texas teams. But Baylor did have the bye. For me to want to get on this, TCU would have to get under the 3, which it's heading that direction. BetOnline is now 3 even. This line opened up 3.5. Cincy at OK State. OK State, the worst team of the Power 4 conferences. With that being said, I've got Cincinnati 21 points better on the road than OK State is at home. Both teams played last week. Cincy now 5 straight wins, 3-2 against the spread. OK State 5 straight losses, 1-4 against the spread. Their top 2 quarterbacks have been out, so the ratings are with Flores and Heine both out for OK State. Once again, guys, as I said, Cincy 21 points better, but OK State home for the 2nd straight week, so it's a tick under that. The game is at 22 right now, 21 have some spots, 22. And again, just right on the number. There's nobody that's got better numbers, and that's why, as my man was saying before, page on $2.99 so you don't have to do it. Look, you couldn't do the work. If you had the time, you could not get to these numbers. This is 40 fucking years of refining the numbers, and that's why I could make the line right where it's supposed to be. Utah, BYU. They call it the Holy War. BYU is the Mormon school, obviously in Utah for you guys that are geographically challenged. And fuck it, I'm going to give it to you, okay? I'm on BYU plus 3.5. Now, this game hasn't moved yet. This is a revenge spot. Tough to bet against the revenge spot. BYU went into Utah, beat them 22-21 last year. They also won back in 2021, 26-17. These teams didn't play every year. They used to play every year. Prior to the last 2 that BYU won, Utah won 8 straight. But we'll go back that far. I don't count them, and we'll talk more about that one with the NFL games. Anyway, BYU, big fucking overtime win at Arizona. They've now won their last 8 straight, 5-2-1 against the spread. Utah playing great also. We had Utah. They did what they had to do against ASU last week, but they did it to them without a quarterback. For my Mass Edge members, you'll notice big difference, 4-point difference, Utah at home and on the road, and that's enough for me to make BYU my bet today. A home dog plus 3.5. We're on BYU in this one. Texas Tech and ASU round out the Big 12 portion of the schedule. Not going through it. I've got question marks on both quarterbacks. Morton for Texas Tech. He left the last game, and Levitt for ASU. Remember, we bet against ASU. We bet Utah, specifically that he was out. So you got both quarterbacks for both teams, both up in the air. If you're a Mass Edge member, you know what the ratings are. I'll answer some questions before we move on. John, how many notebooks do you go through a year? 1 per sport. NBA, I go through a loose leaf binder, though. Only favored by that many because of the name Burger. I don't know which game you're referring to. Clemson is not that good. Okay, Clemson. Okay, I see it. You're the best. Hit both of those Monday Night Football games. Vexa, yes, I know. I appreciate that. What else we got? Any other questions before I move on? Let's go. Big Ten. Let's talk some Big Ten football. Just give me a sec as I check on. All right, Big Ten football. First game, Nebraska, Minnesota. And that's also a Friday night game. Now, this game is starting to get up there. The opening number on this game was 5, and it has gone to 9. Minnesota, not a good team. They had to come back to beat Purdue. They've won 2 of their last 3 games, but 0-2-1 against the spread in those games. Nebraska, more of the same, 6-1 their last 7 games, but they haven't covered any of the last 3. I've got Nebraska 8 points better on the road than Minnesota is at home. So you say, John, well, that's pretty close, 8-9. But it's Nebraska's second road game in a row. They won at Maryland last week. It's Minnesota's second home game in a row. Advantage Minnesota. Also, we got a little bit of an ownership here. Minnesota has won the last 5 meetings, and they've won the last 4 at home, 3-1 against the spread. If this gets to a 10, I'll be interested in Minnesota in this one. Mich State, Indiana. And here's one of these games, guys, that you got to be careful because just give me one sec here. Mich State, right now you see this line up at 27. And if you're looking at my numbers, you're like, John, we got to be all over Mich State here. Well, we would if we knew if Childs was playing. The quarterback for Mich State, Childs, left the last game questionable. If I knew he'd be out, we would be on Mich State. This is a great spot. Letdown spot for Indiana after going to Oregon and beating the Ducks. Mich State, a home loss to UCLA. UCLA's another team. We'll talk about them shortly. But Mich State has actually won their last 3 trips at Indiana. Yes, I know this is a different Indiana team last couple of years. Indiana put it on Mich State last year, 47-10. Again, this would be a big bet on Mich State if I knew Childs was playing. Got to know he's healthy and he's playing. But that's why there's a big difference in the line. Guys, you got to know the injuries. Remember, our numbers are a base number. Now, with this number, they're expecting Childs out. If Childs is out, this is ballpark the right number. Once they announce Childs is out and this game ticks over the 28, then you could still throw a small little bet on Mich State in this one. We'll talk more about it as the injuries come more into focus later on. Maryland goes to UCLA. I just was talking about it. UCLA, they fire the head coach, get some new fucking coordinators in there. New Hazel, the old coach's son, calling the plays. The kid that came from Tennessee, they've turned the program around in 2 weeks. They beat Penn State. We say, well, Penn State, maybe they weren't as good as, no, they're not as fucking good as they were supposed to be. Then they go on the road and they get a win at Mich State. UCLA, much better. But I think they're going a little too far with them. Maryland, 2 straight home losses that they blew leads in against Nebraska, as we talked about last week, and a loss at Washington. They had a 20-point lead against Wash. Maryland's got to make the travel cross-country. That's always tough. So it's an extra point that I'm going to give towards UCLA. I just can't make the number this high. And as I said, guys, this game started at 2.5 and is now 3 favorite money or 3.5 in some spots. I'll be looking to see how high this one goes. Do you think Mich State will be looking ahead to fade? No, absolutely not. Could they keep Childs out? I don't know how severe the injury is so that he could come back to face Michigan. But Mich State's coming off a home loss. They need to get a win. They were embarrassed by Indiana. I never feel a team should be looking ahead coming off a loss. Now, I know sometimes they could be. That look ahead is such a thing. We've got to look ahead in the NFL. So Thursday, what's a more look ahead than Aaron Rodgers playing the Bengals, okay, Thursday night. Who do they get next? You guessed it, Green Bay Packers. That's a fucking look ahead for Aaron Rodgers, but it's not a look ahead for anybody else in the team. Cincinnati's a division rival. So it's very subjective when we talk about that look ahead. Again, Michigan State, no right to be looking ahead to anybody. They've got a chance to play against a team that's in a letdown that buried them last year. I think the spot belongs to Michigan State, but we got to find out about the quarterback. Again, Mary and Ukla, the ratings on Ukla have gone higher than I've got them rated. Great ball the last 2 weeks. Totally different team. I've moved them about 6 points. Other guys have moved them 10. Purdue Northwestern. Just looking at some movement on the Arizona-Houston game. Give me 1 sec, guys. Purdue Northwestern. My number on this game, guys, I got Northwestern 4.2 points better at home than Purdue is on the road. But this will be Purdue's second road game in a row. They lost at Minnesota. They gave Minnie a fight. Northwestern coming off the huge, and I mean huge, win over Penn State. So it should be a little bit of a letdown. Last year, Northwestern beat Purdue 26-20 at Purdue in overtime. So this is a little bit of an edge to Purdue. This game would have to go a little higher, though, if I want to take Purdue. Give me a sec as I'm checking some lines here. So Purdue and nobody in this game. And as I said, this game right now sitting at three the favorites some money. We talked about Maryland Euclid, wash Michigan. Okay, so a similar situation here. Wash has got to come all the way from the West Coast to Michigan. I've got Mich 7.3 points better at home than Wash is on the road. Plus, Michigan coming off a road loss at Southern Cal last week. Good spot for Michigan. Last year, Washington beat them 27-17 in Washington. So, again, good spot for Michigan. I need this line to go lower. The line is a little lower now because running back Haynes, Michigan star running back, questionable. Michigan, nobody, but I just don't like to lay the points with Michigan. We'll see. Have to see how low this goes. Penn State, Iowa, and Penn State hits the fucking skids. I don't know how. I don't think their program's been this bad since Joe Paterno was letting fucking coaches rape fucking kids. Third straight loss. They lose at UCLA. It's one thing losing to Oregon in overtime, okay? But then they use at UCLA as a 20-something point favorite. They lose at home to Northwestern as a 20-something point favorite. They lose David Alon, their quarterback, and they fire the fucking head coach. This team could be in for another fucking beatdown by Iowa, who just beat down Whiskey at Whiskey last week. My numbers only have 2.5 points better. Iowa 2.5 points better at home than Penn State is on the road. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Like as I just said, does Penn State even show up for this game? It's Iowa or nobody, despite what the line says. And then I've got Ohio State Whiskey. Ohio State's by far the best team in the country. That defense is it's unbelievable. I don't see how Wisconsin's going to score on their defense when it couldn't score on Iowa's fucking defense at home last week. But it is Ohio State's second road game in a row. It is Wisconsin's second home game in a row. Give them a little edge for that. Who'll be a quarterback for Whiskey? Does O'Neal come back? Don't know yet. You got an Ohio State team. Just chug it along. They've won 10 straight, 9-0-1 against the spread. And again, my Mass Edge members see that here's a game that my ratings say it shouldn't be this high, but this is like if you want to bet the fucking Dodgers. This is like if you want to bet the fucking Chiefs. You want to bet the blue chip teams, you're going to pay a little bit extra, and that's what they're doing with Ohio State. They tacked on extra points. You could see from the opening number, the Sharps took Wisconsin immediately. They put this up at 27. It's down as low as 25 at Pinnacle. So it was whiskey and nobody at that number. But as I tell you all the time, guys, sometimes it's nobody. Do I want a team that just got shut out by Iowa last week and is going to come play the best fucking team, the best defensive team in college football? And I can find better spots than this. All right, so our next Big Ten game, Oregon travels to Rutgers off a tough fucking loss at home to Indiana. Not only that, but this is going to be their second trip back east in 3 weeks. Remember, they go to Penn State. They win in OT. They have a bye. They lose to Indiana. Now they got to come back and face a Rutgers team that by all means they really should beat. This game opened 14.5, and now it's up to as high as 17.5. Well, my Mass Edge members, you'll see. I've got my ratings say Oregon should be 16.2 points better on the road than Rutgers is at home. But I'm gonna take off that extra point for traveling from Oregon to Rutgers. So I'm a little closer to 15 on this one. Again, could be bad spot. Oregon needs a win to get themselves back into that Big Ten picture. But I think this line is too high. Oregon, another one of those teams that they add the points on. Depending how high this goes, Rutgers or nobody. Southern Cal at Notre Dame. Look, Notre Dame, they just beat the bad fucking teams. A little tougher against the fucking good teams, as we saw earlier in the year with losses with Miami and Texas A&M. But they just bury the bad teams, and and their ratings go up. There's only one way for them to go up when they're beating these bad teams. They did it again, beating NC State this last game. Southern Cal coming off a nice home win over Michigan. They've got to travel to Notre Dame. And again, as I said, guys, if you're a Mass Edge member, you could see I've got my ratings say Dame 8.5 points better at home than Southern Cal is on the road. Again, a little extra for the extra travel. You're looking at 9. You're looking at right what the number is. And again, this is why I can claim that I've got the best numbers in the game, okay? If you're ESPN, you can't compare with me. If you're Sagarin ratings, you can't compare with me. If you're some fake fucking scamby capper that's just picking games, you can't compare with me. And our final conference is the best conference in football. Of course, we're talking about the SEC. Be with you guys in a sec. First game of the SEC, Oklahoma, South Carolina. Oklahoma comes off that tough loss. Yo, the kid gutted it out, Mattia. 17 days off for a broken hand. Should have never played against Texas last week. Anxious to see how he comes out of that game, comes back to this game. Look, this is a game that I've had circled since last year. Last year, South Carolina went into Oklahoma and beat them the fuck down, 35-9. Oklahoma are a better team this year than South Carolina. My ratings say Oklahoma 4.4 points better on the road than South Carolina is at home. That's what Oklahoma taking a ratings dip off that Texas loss, and mainly because of Mantia coming back with the broken hand. He just played a terrible game. But this is a revenge spot for Oklahoma. The numbers go, guys. I mean, again, right on it. It opened 4. Everybody saw just what I saw. This game immediately got hit, went up to 5.5. Yeah, we get some wolves out here in Connecticut. Do you hear them? LSU, Vandy. Let's just see if we got any questions in here. Vic says, John, it's cold up here. Yep, it is. The Penn State play Ohio State the week after. Forget Penn State. Forget about what they're doing the week after. Their series, this season's over. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get back to this. So it was LSU and Vandy. Once again, I've got Vandy 1 point better at home than LSU is on the road. And you guys will notice, you Mass Edge guys will notice LSU, I believe the biggest differential home road. 5.8 points better at home than on the road. And that's why I've got Vandy a 1 point better at home. Now you see the line is at 2.5, and it's at 2.5, and this is why. Vandy's got a bye week. They're coming off a bye week. And the game before that was a road loss at Alabama. So LSU, they beat Vandy 24-17 in Vanderbilt in LSU last year. Vandy did cover. So again, off the bye, little revenge. I'll give them a little bit of an extra. So instead of 1, I'm more to that 2 to 2.5. And that's exactly what you see. So I hope you guys are understanding that, as I always say, you take the home rating, you take the road rating, and do some simple subtraction. That's your base number, but that's your base number. Who's more rested? What's the situation? Is it a look-ahead game, a bounce back? All that's got to be taken into account. Mississippi State and Florida. Here was another game. They opened 10. It's down to 9, even some 8.5, and that's what my numbers suggest. I've got Florida 9 points better at home than Mississippi State is on the road. But again, you've got a Miss State team coming off a bye, so I would shorten that line up a little bit. Plus, little home revenge. Florida Gators went there last year to Mississippi State, beat them 45-28. So I made that number a little cheaper. I wanted at least over the 10 to make Miss State a bet. It was never there. They glommed up the plus 10. So again, guys, I want you to understand. I could have made a bunch of plays where I know the numbers are going to go my way, but I don't bet every game just for that, like North Carolina. Do I want a dead North Carolina team? Belichick talking about fucking getting bought out, all of this bullshit. Anyway, Mizzou and Auburn. Here's another example of my numbers are the right numbers. We're not going to win every game because nobody does. My numbers are the right numbers. Once in a blue moon, we'll have a wrong number. Missouri, if you're a Mass Edge member, go look. I've got Missouri 2 points better on the road than Auburn. If you can see, Auburn opened as a 2.5 point favorite. Mizzou is now a 2 point favorite. I don't make this shit up, okay? Again, Missouri, I've got 2 points better on the road than Auburn is at home. This game opened Auburn 2.5. If it would have opened 3, I would have took the 3. Boom, they hit it, and they flipped the favorites. Once again, coming right to my number, and that's why I can say with all the confidence in the world, there is nobody that's got better ratings than me. There is nobody that's got better ratings than me. There is nobody that's got better ratings than me. Ole Miss in Georgia. Ole Miss, Now, you got to watch with ratings here. Ole Miss gave no effort last week against Wazoo, Wash State University. That was a total look-ahead game to this week to Georgia. Because of that fact, this line is starting to go up now over 7. It cannot be that high. I've got Georgia 5.5 points better at home than Ole Miss is on the road. Ole Miss got them, though, last year, 28-10. And the year before, they went into Georgia, and they got fucking steamrolled 52-17. To me, once it's over the 7, it's Ole Miss or nobody. I'm not jumping on it. It's only 2 points off the number, but I'm Ole Miss or nobody in this game. Couple of colleges, SEC left. Texas A&M and Arkansas. Just give me 1 sec, man. Texas A&M. I've got A&M 7.3 points better on the road than Arkansas is at home. You'll take a look. That line is 7.5. I can only lean towards A&M. A&M, they beat them 21-17 at Texas A&M last year. They've won 9 of the last 10, but Hawks covered 6 of the last 7. Running back Moss questionable for A&M. So, again, another game we're passing. I wish these fucking wolves and dogs would get the fuck out of here. Shut up! Tennessee and Bama. So Bama in a spot here. They'll be looking for a little revenge. They went to Tennessee last year. They lose 24-17. So, they'll be looking for a little revenge in that one. Bama's won the last 5 meetings in Bama, 3-2 against the spread. Here's one that I'm really off with the number. I've got Alabama 11.6 points better at home than Tennessee is on the road. Tennessee's won their last 3 games, but they haven't covered any of the 3. Bama looking to continue dominance and to catch a little revenge. If it got down to 7, I could lay Bama and 7 points. The final SEC game, Texas-Kentucky. Texas coming off that big Red River rivalry win over Oklahoma. I've got them 14.7 points better on the road than Kentucky is at home. But again, they're coming off that win. Kentucky had a bye. Texas beat Kentucky 31-14 in Texas last year, but Kentucky covered. So I'm on the other side of the 14. I'm like 13.5, still higher than the 12, but not enough to want to make a bet. I'm going to leave you guys. If anybody's got any questions, went over the big Power 4 conferences. You guys know that we're on the Brew Crew today. They should have fucking got it for us last night, but we're on them today. And you can see right now, guys, all that Pinnacle's down to plus 103. Bet Online down to plus 104. The Brewers are the side today. We sent that out last night. I laugh at these kids. They're watching the screen. The reverse line movement, the percentage of fucking bets. While they're trying to figure out who the sharps are on, I'm the fucking sharp that's already on the fucking games. So we're on that one. I told you about the Falcons. We grabbed +3 first thing this morning once they put the games back up. And again, that game's down to 2. What do we got here, guys? Last 3 starts versus M's. Baraka Power says Bieber's last 3 starts, all T-Mobile. I don't know what you're talking about. Mariners are nobody for game 3. Bieber in his last 3 starts, all at T-Mobile, 19 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 0 walks. I know he pitched the shutout there last year. So I think Bieber had 6 shutout innings at Safeco last year. I think that game's right there as far as the number right now. Already looking ahead, my man. Or Baraka Power already looking ahead. That's it. No questions. I went over all of those college football games. Nobody's got any questions on anything. And this is what you get when you're a Mass Edge member. You got the ratings where you can make the lines yourself. I might not be betting a game. I don't bet that many games. You might be interested in messing around with a game. At least you got an idea of what the rating should be. I said it last week too. Jay's gotta start Lauer in the game. Yeah, that's the reason. Because Lauer, he's been a monster this year, and M's worst versus lefties. Look, Blue Jays are in trouble. The only thing I can say is they swept the 3 regular season meetings at Seattle by a combined 21-7. So the little bit of hope that they'll have, we'll see. But again, as I already see the number for tomorrow. Kirby at 130, at Pinnacle 131. That's right where I make it. So the Texans line moved to 3.5. Any thoughts why? They love Seattle. Let me just say that game, guys. Excuse me. So Seattle Seahawks, love the way they're playing. They go and get a big win over Jacksonville this last week. That was their 9th straight road win. But they're 2-8 their last 10 home games, 2-8 straight up and against the spread. And this is why, if you're a Mass Edge member, you say, but how could Seattle be worse at home than on the road? Well, I just fucking told you why. The numbers tell you why. Not feelings, not the 12th man and how loud it gets there. The numbers. I just go by numbers. And the numbers say the Seahawks are a better road team than they are at home. Texans, granted, competition was weak, but they won. They're coming off a bye, and you saw the 2 teams came off a bye last night. Falcons had a bye. Bury the Bills. Bears had a bye. Get past the Redskins. Well, Texans have a bye, and the 2 games before the bye, they beat they won those 2 games by a combined 70-10. They lead the NFL in points allowed per game. So, yeah, it's points to nobody in that one. So, Seattle can't win at home. Anybody can win anywhere, but it's very tough. So, they're on. Look, they were on Seattle 2 weeks ago against us when we had the Tampa Bay Bucks. That I thought was due to the injuries. They just must have a different number on the Seahawks than I do. I'm okay with my number. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Be back tomorrow and each weekday, noon Eastern, right here, the Massa Edge app. Best sports betting information you can get anywhere. Let's make some money.